Welcome to the Teaching Change Podcast, where we explore issues of social entrepreneurship, education, and innovation. I'm your host, Jerrid Calicay. On today's episode, we actually have some very special guests from Valencia College. Claudine Tomlinson-Burney has a class on radio and podcasting. Listeners, you'll remember that we've had two other episodes, one exploring purpose and one exploring passion with this very class. And so this episode, we get to revisit the class, different students, but still just as wonderful. And so today we're joined by Felice, Tim, and Makenna, and I'll have them introduce themselves in a moment. And we're going to be talking about what it means to live a successful life, or what does success mean. So Felice, do you want to start out by sharing your name and who you are, and why are you in a radio and podcasting class?
Hello. Thanks for having me. My name's Felice Mathie, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I appreciate it. My name comes from my mother being drunk. Yes, when she was giving birth, she named me Felice Fricty Mathie. Now, I hope you have a very special feeling because not too many people know my middle name. But I bring my name together because up until like my late 20s, I really didn't like it. But if you put Felice, it means happy. Matthew means gift of God. So put it together, it's happy gift of God. And it wasn't until I became a Christian that I really enjoy the significance of that name. And that leads me to what I believe my purpose and what I do and what would make me successful or feel successful in life would be. And it's a two-part answer, and I'll keep it short, as short as I possibly can. First part is I am a Christian, so to me, to live a successful life would be living as close as I can, without perfection, of course, as the life of Jesus Christ and what he teaches. And the second part would make me feel successful is if I did the vision, or if I accomplished the vision, or I was accomplishing the vision and purpose that he has for me, which I believe is to help spouses to communicate more effectively in their marriage or their marriage to be. Based on the bio that I have, I believe that's my purpose. So that would be my short way of answering that question.
All right, cool. And we'll dive more into all that in a moment. I will say that's a fantastic story, except for the part that your mother was drunk when she was giving birth to you. I mean,
think about the name Felice, right? Everybody has a name or how they were called, right? I guarantee no one's divorced of the following variations. I was called Felice, Felicia, Fleas, Felice, Flee from me. I mean, it just goes on and on. That name is my mother had to be drunk. I mean, there's no other explanation.
So you're assuming she was drunk?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. I was a little worried, but it's just an assumption. All right, moving right along. Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us why in the world are you in a radio podcasting class?
My name is Tim. I'm also a Christian. Amen, brother. Give me a high five. All right. I'm in a podcasting class because I do enjoy like talk radio and everything. So, and it's also a credit class, so to take the credit for the class. So, but I do like to talk and listen to the talk radio. So I've always just been interested in also doing different voices and singing and stuff like that. So,
okay, awesome. And last but not least, Makenna.
Hi there, I'm Makenna Waller. I joined radio production because I've actually never really listened to podcasts before this, and I like to listen to the radio, but more I've been getting into Spotify, so just listening to music, but podcast is there to, teach lessons and learn about things that maybe you wouldn't already know, and hear about advice and interviews of people that have knowledge about things, so just wanting to experience more and open up to more.
Very cool. And so you saw the radio podcasting class in assume the catalog at Valencia, and you said, you know what, I'll go give it a go.
Yes, it was actually an elective for me, so it was like an extra class that I could add. It wasn't necessarily in my major, but I was like, might as well try something that's new and open to me.
Very cool. All right, so unlike our normal guests on the show who have a background or are doing work in social entrepreneurship or innovation work, you all are students of podcasting. And so our topic today, we're going to talk about something that you all are well suited for, and it's basically what it means to live a successful life, or what does success mean for you. As I look at each one of you, you're probably different ages, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, et cetera. And so I'd like to dive a little bit into what does it mean for you if at the end of everything, you look back and you say, I lived a successful life. What does that mean right now to you? Makenna, if you don't mind, I'd like to start with you.
Sure. So, I mean, I think everyone sees success as like having money or having lots of things in their life, but really I see success as like knowledge. So everyone goes to school and they go to school to figure out what they want to do. Success can be, yeah, I make a lot of money, but I don't really necessarily have the experiences other people do. But the way I see success is gaining that experience and actually applying those things in your life that you already know that you can be proficient to or advanced to. Can you reword the question? Like
Yeah,
success?
no, and what is your major here at Valencia?
Yeah, so my major is new media. It's actually a newer major that just came out, so it's applying social media to your job, such as advertising and expressing the company digitally. So I'm trying to use this and pursue this because I feel like it's such a new field that not many people have experience about this since technology is so big now. I'd like to apply that and see where I can go. So hopefully working for a bigger company and being able to advertise for them on social media like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Cool. And do you have profiles currently that you'd like to shout out?
Not necessarily. The profiles that I have are on Instagram that I'm just using for Valencia since I haven't really started with a company. It's just my personal profiles that I use.
Cool. I would recommend that you start building a portfolio now, and you start building up those profiles. Whether you use personal ones or you create professional Makenna ones, I'd really recommend that because one of the very first questions, and I'm sure your professors will share with you, but one of the very first questions you're going to get in a social media manager interview is what are your profiles? What are they, and they're going to pull them up and see what your follower counts are and your engagement rates and all that exciting stuff. So my little advice to you would be start working on it now because it takes a while to build those up. Is there any particular industry you'd like to work in? Is there one? I know you had mentioned something kind of fascinating a little while ago before we came on that you make shampoo.
I don't make shampoo. I actually just started a business, working for a business about 4 days ago, so I'm brand new to it. But
nice. Well, welcome to the industry.
Thank you. It's a health and beauty company. They sell all natural products that are vegan-free, gluten-free, and lots of all this good natural stuff. But they sell these shampoos to help hair growth and make it fresh and happy again that it wants to be, as well as they just opened a skincare brand in this September. The brand is 5 years old, 5 years new, so not a lot of people know about it, but it's growing like crazy. So this company, I've been learning a lot as far as my 4 days that I've just started, but they say reach for your goals and just plan ahead for everything. And it's mostly a ladies group, but there is a couple men in the group. But they always say reach out, talk to lots of people. Doesn't matter if you've known them in the past and you don't really talk to them, but just open up to them again and see how they're doing and see how you can help them.
Very cool. And what's the name of the company?
It's called Monate, M-O-N-A-T.
All right, very cool. And Tim, I noticed you have beautiful locks of lovely hair. Tim has spiked hair, short on the sides. I imagine you do not sell shampoo.
No.
Okay.
I might talk to you later, though. Maybe.
Yeah. So there you go. First sale.
Yeah.
There you go. 4 days in. Your success. So Tim, tell us a little bit about what brought you to the radio podcasting class and kind of what you hope to do with it. And then we'll jump off into kind of what your definition of success is.
The radio and podcasting class, like I said earlier, I always liked listening to talk radio. So that's a big thing I like doing. So, and also just talking about different subjects that interest me, but also interest others, and just like talking to people. So, and also, again, it's for credit, so it's part of my degree. So, it's another reason I took it.
Cool.
But mostly because I do like the industry.
Yeah. And what degree are you going for?
I'm actually going for video production, so
nice.
Digital media. So, but this can be part of it as well. So,
very
for
cool.
Advertising, marketing. So.
Nice. And so at the end of, when it's all said and done, you look back on your life, what do you think would be a successful life?
I think the most important thing is just money and popularity. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, Tim is relatively shallow. No problem.
Yeah. That's what a lot of the world thinks. I think the biggest success is, doing what I think God put me on this earth to do. I have a 4.5-year-old son and a wife and family, so I think that's big important part of it, but I've also been a personal trainer like over 12 years, so fitness is a big part of that. But I've also been interested in video production, so that's why I got back to school for that.
Cool,
So I think,
cool. And
yeah,
what's your son's name?
Corban.
Corman. Very
Corbin,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, Corbin.
Yeah.
Corbin. Very cool. Very cool. 4.5. That's an exciting age.
Yeah.
I have a daughter that's 5 and
Okay.
a son that's 8 and another son that's 10. So
Oh, you got a lot of them.
yes. I have a litter.
I got to
if you
catch
will.
up, maybe.
Awesome. Very cool. And then Felice.
Yes.
What you kind of mentioned a little bit. You're also a man of God, as Tim was mentioning. He is. What would be success for you?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, twofold: to live according to the will of the God who I believe designed the world, designed for us. The same God who designed DNA and the air we breathe, I believe, has a design for how we should treat each other and all forms of relationships. So living according to that, to the best of my ability, I would truly find to be successful in this life. And according to that, with the mission that I think that he gave me, and I think if everyone looks at their bio, that they have a purpose or a story that could be shared to other people that may help someone else get a little bit further. So that's a 2-part answer to what would be successful to me.
Okay. All right. And then what brought you to the radio podcasting class?
Well, before this, I was at Orange Technical College doing digital video. And then I found out that they have a new degree in new media communication specialist. And for the last 19 months, I've been building a brand of helping marriages communicate better in their marriages. And I was already in that space. So I figured by taking this class, which is also a required class for the degree, that I learned some more insights to probably take back to a podcast I used to have or use for my branding purposes to get my story out.
Okay. And I noticed you have what looks like a wedding band on. Is that?
Yep.
Is that right? So
That is correct.
you're married. Good.
Yes.
And how long have you been married?
It'll be 10 years March 20th next year.
Okay. And what gives you the expertise to be kind of a marriage counselor expert? Is it because everything's been sunshine and roses, or because of the opposite?
Ha! I've yet to meet a married couple who is all sunshine and roses. Well, I'm often asked this, and I usually introduce this by the same way I introduce my workshop, if I may.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I've never loved another like I loved my mother. See, I'm the only child with no sisters or brothers other than the brothers I've been blessed with by other mothers. Now, I love my brothers and many others, but all of them put together is but a feather compared to the love that I have for my mother forever. Now, I usually start with that as an ode to my mother. And November 28, 1996, she died of HIV. I literally seen her dying in front of me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
A few months after that, my stepfather was murdered in Haiti. A few months after that, well, several months after that, maybe 3 or 4 months after that, the last living relative that I knew, my granduncle, he died of diabetes. So at the age of 13, I became a child with no blood relatives. Now, talking to psychologists and therapists and everything, they say in a traumatic situation like that, it usually goes 2 ways. Either someone has problem forming a relationship, right? They keep people at bay. They don't want to have any type of close relationship because of the fear of losing someone else. Or they become obsessed. I became obsessed. So from age 13, every person that I could talk to, I interviewed. Whether it was a couple that had been married 20, 30 years, they were more common back then, or if it was someone who got divorced, I wanted to know essentially 2 things: what made them work and what made them fail. And the number one problem that I realized was communication problems. That was the number one problem in relationships. So from surveys, if you interview people that I've known since middle school, they'll tell you I was a kid walking around with surveys and what's the meaning of love and
Really?
How do you make it? Yes, I was. Yeah, I think I found a couple of the notebooks that I kept, but I was that guy. So now all I do is just share with people, the things that I've learned in over 20 years of looking at it closely. Mm-hmm. And to add to that, 9 months after me and my wife got married, she was deported back to her country.
Wow.
Right? And her visa that she had when she came here expired, and the judge said you have to go back to even apply. So she had to go back. So for the next 4 years of our marriage, all we had was communication. I saw her maybe 3 times during that time. You do not survive that without 2 things: God and be able to effectively communicate. When that's all you got. When you're living with someone, you could, I'll sleep on the couch, But, if someone's like thousands of miles away and communication is your marriage, you either have to work it out or get out. So fortunately, we chose to work it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I could imagine that must have been quite a troubling time for you when 9 months in, you're finally starting to settle into married life, and now your wife is being deported.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yes, it was tough.
So was the goal always to get her back to the States, or were you thinking about going to where is she from?
St. Lucia.
Okay, so were you thinking about going there? Or
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Oh no, that's not a place to actually raise a family or to prosper financially. I'm native to Haiti, right? But Haiti's probably the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, but St. Lucia is often not talked about because of their tourists and the show The Bachelor is shot in St. Lucia, but economically it's not nowhere to start a family. And you can imagine how important starting a family would be for me. So I entered the military, paid a whole lot of fees, and the plan was always to get her back here. And she came back, ironically, July 4th of 2014.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. And do you have any children?
Not yet.
Not yet?
We're practicing.
Okay. Well,
coming soon.
Good. Well, this is a family show, so we won't go into that. But so Tim, kind of hearing your co-interviewees and kind of hearing kind of their journey and so forth, what has been some things that you've had to kind of combat, or do you foresee combating on your journey to success?
Constantly every day there's always struggles here and there and challenges. Try not to see what the world, their outlook on things and what success is, and just keep it, like I said earlier, about my family and what's going to help us out, and as well as helping others along the way. I think that's a big part of it, because being a personal trainer, I'm always helping people every day. So that's one of the main things I like, is just helping others and serve others. And I think if we all work together, and we can sound like a Miss America pageant, but we can make the world a better place.
Yeah, and world peace.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely. Yeah, I was a little disappointed when Felice let us know that The Bachelor isn't 100% accurate and real.
Never watched the show, so
you're missing out.
Missing anything.
No, I haven't watched it either, but I have relatives and good friends that watch it religiously, and it's exciting, I suppose. But at any rate, moving right along. Makenna, what do you think as far as living a successful life? You said experiences, gaining knowledge. What happens after Valencia? What do you foresee life being as a social media maven in the big city, wherever that might be?
Where do I see it? Let's see. Excuse me. I don't know what just happened.
So whenever Makenna talks, she has a soundtrack that plays.
No, I don't know what just
That's
happened.
her theme music.
Yeah.
Sorry, Apple Watch. Where do I see it going? Let's see. I hope to be successful just like anyone else. I am just about to graduate. It's going to be this May, so I need to get my internship. So I'm hoping from my internship that I can be able to gain experience from it, which is obviously what the internship is supposed to be offering. I can only hope for just a chance to show what I can offer, and a business being able to say, hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity and the chance that you deserve, even though they may not know who I am. So I really think a lot is just someone being able to open up and see who you are, and not necessarily saying, hey, you might not have everything that I'm looking for, but this is something, and you're going to grow in the company.
Yeah, absolutely. So where are you looking for internships currently? I know Valencia has an internship office and whole apparatus for them. Have you gone to the Career Center and started that process yet, or?
I started online. I just applied for my internships. I'm looking at more internships now. Right now I applied for like a health one, since I am interested in like beauty and health and well-being for people. I'm very interested in like the sports aspect, and I go to Disney a lot, so anything with Disney I'm all over. So anything of my hobbies, obviously I have to be passionate about it, so I want to do something that I would love to do every day instead of just not necessarily interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if any of our listeners are looking for interns, how many hours a week is the interns that Valencia could provide?
So some of the internships, it really depends. Some say internship part-time or full-time, but it looks like about 20 hours a week is what you're averaging. Just depends on how flexible you are and what they are specifically looking for.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, and I do know you have to have at least 80 hours for the semester, so.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Just for 1 credit, it's 80 hours, but if you're looking for 3 credits, I think it's like 360 that you have to have.
Yeah, I'm not a math professor, so I'll let someone else do the math on that. But yeah, absolutely. The neat thing about the digital media and social media is that you're not even geographically bound. So you can, technically work for any company in the world because it's all done, a lot of it's done through the internet. And so there might be some companies that are not here in Orlando that might be interested in interns. So good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
When your professor told you that you had the opportunity, and your class is relatively small, I think there's 6 or 7 of you total, to be interviewed on the radio, how excited were you, honestly?
Oh, she did say we would get an automatic A, so I think that's what. Isn't that what you said? No.
Well, that's a good deal.
She's
That's a
shaking
good
her
deal
head
right
no,
there.
So. I mean, like I said, I like to listen to talk radio, and I'm interested in this industry, so I mean, why not?
Okay.
It's an experience, so.
Well, I wasn't excited for you because I didn't know who you were and what you were talking about. But I was excited for the opportunity. She does a great job of exposing us to those different opportunities. It's awesome. A few weeks ago, we had another speaker come in, and we were able to sit in a live professional recording. So that was cool. So it gave me a sense of excitement to know, just what's behind that door.
Nice. Very cool. Makenna, what'd you think?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't like the sound of my voice, but getting out of my comfort zone, here I am, being able to talk about some things and say who I really am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
I think your voice is fine. I think it's fine. Everyone agrees. And then we also have some in-studio folks. We've got a couple more students that are here, and a student that's absent today, I understand, but they won't get that automatic A, unfortunately. And then we have some other hosts of a radio show here in the studio audience. This is a little bit different for me, as my listeners will know, is that I typically don't do live interviews, and I typically don't have studio audience. So this is a big deal whenever I come to the studio here. We always have a lot more folks involved. In terms of, it sounds like a lot of you are almost done with your degrees and probably will be moving on from Valencia in the next year or so. What do you hope to kind of leave as a legacy at Valencia? If you were to think for a few moments about what you want to kind of leave behind, what do you want your professor to remember you by and the rest of Valencia?
That's something I haven't really thought about, but one of the things is, main thing is just, that I did all my work and did it on time. And I think the biggest thing is whether it's work ethic in school or just in regular jobs, you got to have good work ethic. So I want to always leave that behind as, oh yeah, he did a good job and he always said what he was going to do. So.
Okay, cool.
I like to leave behind the A in the grade books as hope for the future students that will be taking the class. I was an A as in, the highest I can get. But no, seriously, I like to leave my story. Anytime I have an opportunity to tell my story, I tell my story. And a part of it is selfishly promoting my purpose, but another part of it is that for so long, my story was a curse to me. It was a curse to me. I'm like, why me, God? I don't got no brothers, no sisters. Never even seen a picture of my father. But now, during the course of the observations and the questions, you'd be surprised how many people along the way, even before I got into business, I was able to talk to and steer towards, what the successful couples did. So now in my 35 years, as of the last 2 years, it's been my greatest inspiration. So I'd like to leave my story anytime I give a chance to tell my story, and that's as a hope to somebody else that's probably going through something. Maybe not in the same area, but you can turn your story into something that's incredible for your life. So I like to leave that behind with anyone that listens to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like you're a little bit of a poet. Spoken word a little bit, huh?
Just a little bit.
All right.
Poet and didn't know it.
Well, I think he
Bars.
did. I think he did know it. Because out of nowhere, he just started rhyming, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And Makenna, what are you leaving behind?
I just want to leave myself behind. Like, I don't want it to be like I'm just like every other student. I want to be a stand-up student where, wow, she did great. I have opportunities with her. I can talk with her even though I'm not in school anymore. But, I mean, I do plan on being in school even if I do graduate. I want to continue learning. I want to learn sign language and things outside my box to just expand my experiences and what I can do for the world.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, lastly, there are a bunch of students that are somewhere out in the radio sphere thinking about taking this class, this radio and podcasting class. What would you tell them? Run, don't go, don't take it, or
save yourselves.
Run.
I think it's a very opening experience. You really have to be able to go outside of your comfort zone. I personally don't like recording people or asking questions to people, so being able to communicate and talk with them to a person that you don't know can be challenging, but you get used to it after a while. I think the projects are very exciting as well. They keep it interesting. You can choose topics that you're interested in and passionate about, so it makes it more exciting to do.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Makenna.
I
Tim, what do
think,
you think?
like she said, it's very challenging in certain aspects. Yeah, getting out of your comfort zone, definitely, and doing things maybe that you thought you never could do. But also, yeah, different types of projects, and then also working with groups and learning how to do that. Because, I mean, whether it's work, again, in school, you're going to have to work with people, different kinds of people. So that's a good experience of doing the group projects.
Awesome. Last but not least?
I would say definitely recommend this class and this endeavor. That's just the age that we're in right now. Social media is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Podcast is the new radio for today's, millennials and the youth. So if that's a craft that you can add to your belt, regardless of what professional career you're going into, definitely add that, because I guarantee every business is integrated into some form of social media.
Yeah, absolutely. Said wonderfully. All right. Well, thank you all, Felice, Tim, and Makenna. I appreciate you all being on Teaching Change. Till next time, be nice and change some stuff.